Also, John, yeah, you mentioned the tanking thing. Now, I got on my soapbox. I was politicking. I'm tight about the Wizards situation with the whole, we're going to shut down Trae Young. We shut down Anthony Davis. You have the Jazz pulling the most egregious stunts, the Pacers as well.
Terrible.
Adam Silver, ahead of the All-Star weekend, he had to lay down the law. $500 fine for the Utah Jazz, $100 for the Pacers. And I hope he looks at the Wizards next. We got to look into that. Are they really injured or not? We got to look into that one, too, because they owe us the pick, man. I'm tired of it. We got screwed on 2 picks already.
I'm telling you, I have a new theory with this. I think what you do at the end of the year, you take the teams that are in the bottom, 12, whatever it is, you run a tournament, and the team that wins that tournament gets the top overall pick in the draft. And the only players that can participate in that tournament are the ones that played X number of games during the year. So you can't rest your best players to make sure you're in that bottom 10 or 12, because then they're not going to be in that tournament at the end of the year to play, to win, to get the best pick in the draft. So it will immediately eliminate any chance that these teams have of purposely sitting their best players to get the best pick. They would, in fact, be hurting their chances. Now, would this theoretically hurt the teams that are genuinely bad and they can't win that postseason tournament? Yes. Does that stink? Yes. Do I think you have to take dire propositions here to try to solve this problem? I think the answer to that is also yes, because this is an embarrassment. And I love the NBA. You know that. You love the NBA too. This is an embarrassment where you are literally sitting your best players to purposely lose.
Yeah.
And look, we sat here with the Knicks, right? Nothing's worse than wanting your team to lose basketball games. It stinks. But the way the system is set up, I understand why fans want it, and I can't blame them for it. But you need to remove that incentive for losing in any possible way. And look, teams are probably never going to agree to that, play extra games. It's a cockamamie scheme. It's probably never going to work. I get all that. But if you don't want to do that, then figure out a different way to disincentivize losing, even if it means the worst team does not always get the top overall pick. I think that's the point that we're at. I'm willing to sacrifice that so that these organizations aren't embarrassing themselves for 4 or 5 months of the season.
It's insane. Now, how about this theory from Tom Haberstraw? He was on the Bomani Jones show. Here is his take on how to fix this thing. I want to know your opinion on this. Here's this one.
If 10 teams are trying to lose and there's 30 games left, you do the math on how many games left in the season are going to be compromised because the teams aren't trying to win every game. So, I mean, if you want to go radical, we don't have to do that. I think we might have talked about this as getting rid of the draft altogether is the only way you're going to set.
All about it.
It's the only way. We can all day. We can talk till we're blue in the face about what if we get rid of pick protections and what if we lock in the lottery odds on March 1st. None of that's going to change things. None of that. The only thing that's going to actually fundamentally change the way teams operate and not try to lose is if you take the draft all together and now you got to sign these guys out of college.
What do you think, man? Get rid of the draft. Abolish the draft.
Look, the only way that works is if you put a hard cap in, you no longer have maximum contracts, right? And then it's a completely open market of how these teams can sign players. It would change the nature of the sport completely. The players would never agree to it because it would cap contracts, right? And by the way, do you think veterans want cap space going to kids that haven't played an NBA game yet?
Right.
Do you know how much money Cooper Flagg would be making $40 million a year before even stepping on a basketball court?
Yeah.
So it would completely mess up the marketplace. There would have to be more changes than just that. You couldn't just do that in the current system to make it work. Because, you just made the joke, right? You don't want to send RJ to the wall in Sacramento. The Kings will never win. They're never going to win. The Raptors
you destroy the parity that they're looking to have.
Exactly right. So I understand what you're thinking there. I still like maybe the teams that win more games that don't make the playoffs get the top pick rather than the team that loses more games.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the way to do it.
Right.
Incentivize teams to win, not lose, right? Maybe the team with the best odds to get the first pick is the 10th seed and not the last seed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just switch it up so that winning more games helps your lottery odds, not makes it worse. I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, it's not perfect, but I think it wouldn't require a complete overhaul of the system like what Haberstroh was talking about.
Yeah, that would be a bit too radical. I'm not too sure they would go for that. As you said, the Players Association probably wouldn't go for that. You'd have teams looking like the Dodgers out there with all the rookies that they go get.
And by the way, it would be great for the Knicks. It would be great for the Knicks.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't want people calling us homers.
Right.
Because that would be great. Everyone would go, Knicks,
Yeah.
Lakers. It would be Knicks, Lakers
Knicks
in the
and
finals
Lakers
every
like the
year.
70s. Yeah.
And the Bulls, right? And Chicago. And
Yeah.
all these teams from the big markets. And everyone else would stink.
Yeah.
And Miami.
And, there's so much marketing and dollars behind the draft and the lead up to the draft and all of that and the lottery, too. So, yeah, I think that would be a bit too radical, but it is interesting. But the league, they're going to do something about it. By next year, you're going to hear probably a smaller tweak, between a year's time. They're going to do something about it, though. Absolutely. I hope they saw my diatribe on Twitter. Look into the Wizards. Adam Silver, if you're watching, we need those picks back. Look into the Wizards. The $700,000 fine that they issued to the Mavs when they tanked to get Derek Lively, that wasn't enough. We got to go back. I'm sending them all of those tapes to the league office. We need our picks back. We need justice, man. We need justice, man. Absolutely.
Dude, what the Mavericks did that year was obscene.
Yeah.
And to the point that it pissed off Luka Doncic, too, right? I mean, it made their star mad where – these players don't want to lose. These guys are such competitors. They want to win games. It's good for everyone. Now, on the bright side, the Wizards get like the top pick in the draft, or at least the Knicks get the first pick in the second round.
Right.
So that's still a pretty valuable pick. But yeah, look, I mean, it's embarrassing, and the league should be ashamed of what. I mean, how many? What do you think? 6 teams are full out not trying to win right now. I mean, it's a joke. So maybe 8. It's brutal.